welcome to First Chapter Friday. My name is Lucy, and the book that I am going to be reading the first chapter of today is a book called Roll With It, and it is by Jamie Sumner. And Roll With It is the story of a 12-year-old named Ellie who has cerebral palsy, which means that she has to use a wheelchair to get around. And she lives with her mother. Her father does not live with them. And she loves to bake. This is her favorite thing to do. She wants to be in baking competitions. She bakes all the time. She reads cookbooks. She just loves it. It's really her skill. At the beginning of the summer, Ellie and her mother are going to go visit Ellie's grandparents in Oklahoma. Ellie's grandparents live in a trailer park in Oklahoma, and they spend every summer, Ellie and her mother go there every summer. Only this summer, they're going to stay a little bit longer because her grandfather is starting to show signs of Alzheimer's. And so Ellie and her mother are going to stay and live with them to help out. Ellie's not sure about this news, moving to a new school. She knows how to navigate around her old school. Everything's accessible where she lives. She can take a bath by herself. She can get dressed by herself. She can get around her kitchen. And living in her grandparents' trailer park, she won't have that same level of accessibility. Someone will have to help her with a lot of those things, which is difficult for her to think about. And she doesn't know what the small school will be like there and whether or not they will be able to help her with creating an individualized education plan, or if they even have an elevator, and what will be accessible to her. So that's where the book starts. And once Ellie gets to Oklahoma, things sort of change for her over time, and she ends up making some really great friends. And that is truly one of the great parts about this book, is the friendship and sort of the built family that Ellie and her mother create when they move to Oklahoma. Ellie's a great character, and she really is determined to make her mark on the world despite all the setbacks she faces. The author, Jamie Sumner, is not herself in a wheelchair, but she is the parent of a child who is in a wheelchair, and so she does have experience with what that is like. So this is chapter 1 of Roll With It. Symmetry. It's kind of hard to watch the Great British Bake Off over plates of Stouffer's lasagna, especially since it's been in the freezer a while. The edges are dry and crusty, but this is about all the cooking Mom chooses to do. She says she likes to leave the fancy stuff to me. Really, though, she just doesn't have the energy to think about fixing anything that doesn't come with directions on the box. Our TV is so old and tiny that I have to lean in to see what Mary Berry is pursing her lips about. The bakers are making English muffins, and she's giving the stink eye to the redhead guy who didn't let his dough rise enough. If I were on the show, Mary wouldn't have to tell me how long those muffins need to rise. Any fool with a Betty Crocker cookbook or Google knows to let it double. I pick at a shriveled string of cheese on my plate and imagine what I'd say if I could send her a note across the ocean. Dear Ms. Berry, as an aspiring baker over here in Tennessee, I'd like to tell you how much I love every single one of your recipes, but especially your cappuccino coffee cake. I made it once for my mom, and she said both coffee and cake would never be the same again. I think she meant that in a good way. Also, would you mind sharing your secret to a good scone? Because down here, all we've got are buttermilk biscuits. Mom's phone rings, and now I'm left wishing I had enough sugar to try another batch of scones. The only ones I ever made came out so hard you had to dunk them in milk to take a bite. Mom hits pause right as Mary is about to call out the top 3 English muffins. I already know which one will win. It's all about symmetry. They have to look exactly the same. Mom sets her food on the coffee table. She's barely touched it, but she picks up her phone and walks into the hallway. She says hello like the conversation has already run an hour long. It has to be me, Ma. I saw off another bite of lasagna with my knife and review what I'm going to say if the phone rings again and it's about what went down at school today. But there's not a single scenario where I don't get grounded. Grown-up Trump's kid like paper beats rock. Mom leans back in from the hallway and mouths, "Choo, choo, choo," like I'm 5 and still in feeding therapy. I point at the phone. Talk to your mother. Depending on how Grandpa's been doing lately, this could either be a really quick conversation or a really long one. I take my chances and hit play. I'm right about the muffins. When Mom still hasn't come in by the credits, I push back from the table and roll into the hallway. She's sitting on the floor with her legs stuck out and the phone in her lap. How bad was it? He locked your grandmother out of the house and called 911 to report a burglary. Whoa. Yes. Did the cops show up? No, he's done it enough times. She reprogrammed the emergency button on the house phone to go to her cell. Smart. Not smart enough to remember to put out a new hide key. She had to get the neighbor to break a window. I can picture it. Grandpa whispering into the yellow phone on the wall about voices and eyes looking in at him from the dark. Poor Mima. I wonder which window they had to bust. I lock the brakes on my chair and hold out a hand. Mom takes it and stands up with a grunt. Nice. Ellie, you're 12. Just wait until you're my age. You'll make all kinds of noises you never thought you'd make. She tries on a smile, but it slides off. I hate it when she does that, pretending everything's rosy because she thinks I can't handle it. But I don't say anything, just grab her plate off the coffee table in the living room and roll on into the kitchen. I don't know the last time Mom ate a meal all the way through. I pop her lasagna into the microwave. If it's not Mima on the line, it's Lauren, my aide, calling to tattle on me, which, I check the clock, might still happen tonight, with my luck. I'm not a bad kid. Really, I'm not. It's just that anybody who sees a girl in a wheelchair thinks she's going to be sunshine and cuddles. Sorry for having an opinion. Sorry for not thanking my lucky stars you get to follow me to the toilet 3 times a day. And sorry for not loving the fact that someone else has to carry my tray to the table at lunch. And then I have to wait at the back of the bus, coughing in the cloud of exhaust while the wheelchair lift goes down as slow as Christmas. I'm sorry for needing a little space. But mostly, I'm sorry I let the whole being stuck in a wheelchair thing get to me today. I wish I could have brushed it off like usual. Then I wouldn't be in this mess. Mom wanders in from the hallway and slumps down at the kitchen table. The microwave beeps, and I plop the lasagna in front of her. It slides across the plate like a wet sock. Probably tastes like one by now, too. She's rubbing her fingertips in a slow circle on the side of her head. I wish she would stop doing that. It makes me worry she's going to go bald. I push the plate forward with one finger until it's about to topple off into her lap. She picks up a fork. Chew, 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 I say, and roll into my bedroom to finish my algebra. It's almost midnight, and I still haven't started my math. I forgot to close the blinds, and the streetlight outside is casting an orangey glow across the walls, but I'm too tired to drag myself into my chair and deal with it. The chair's sitting at a right angle to the bed, where Mom always puts it in case I need to get up in the middle of the night. Right angles. See, I don't even need the math homework. My current skills are greater than or equal to whatever problem set is due tomorrow. I could probably use some solid pluses and minuses to distract me right now. I can't stop thinking about what happened at lunch. It so wasn't a big deal until everybody made it a big deal. I mean, I get it. Lauren's whole entire job is to chaperone me from place to place. So when I pull a runner and disappear, it kind of makes her look like she's slacking. But Emma Claire wasn't there today. She's basically the one friend I have at school. She also has CP, birds of a feather and all that. But she only has a limp and can still play soccer. I tell her she's got a touch of CP, and I've got the whole bucket full. We're not close, but at least we sit together, and when she's gone, it's just me and my cone of silence in the middle of the cafeteria. So there I was, sitting at the end of the row of tables and away from everybody else like a doorstop. And it was loud, and not the kind of loud you can tune out. And it was chilly day. The whole place smelled like meat chunks. Barf. So I packed up the sandwich I'd made with the cranberry relish and goat cheese, which Mom says isn't a sandwich because it doesn't have meat, and left. I just put it all on my lap and rolled on out and down the back hallway that leads to the exit doors by the gym. I sat in a little ray of sunlight that snuck past the dumpsters outside and finished my lunch. And then the bell rang and I just needed another minute, was all. Except when Lauren found me, I might have been dozing in the sunspot. And it might have been after too much travel time had passed for me to blame it on the chair. But I wasn't trying to skip class, really. The thing is, kids skip class all the time. And yeah, they get in trouble. But nobody freaks out about it like they do with me because I'm a health risk. And okay, yes, it was maybe a teensy bit antisocial to go eat in a corner by the dumpsters, But sometimes it's all just too much. I get tired of bearing witness to everybody else's normal. I never got sent to timeout when I was little. I think the teachers couldn't bring themselves to lock me and my wheels in the corner. But I wish I could now. I wish I could just declare a giant time out from school and people and take a long nap in the sun. I think about the Great British Bake Off again and how happy the winner looked, holding up his English muffins like a doof next to the tiny Mary Berry. I bet no one bothers Mary when she wants to eat alone. I bet she dines like a queen. One day I will write her a real letter and ask her to tea. I could handle company if it were Mary. We would sit in easy silence and let the food speak for us. And that's not the end of chapter 1, but chapter 1 is pretty long, so I'm going to stop there. That gives you a little sense of what Ellie's school days are like in Texas where she lives and how much she loves baking. And you can see that there's going to start to be a problem with her grandparents. So she and her mother head off to Oklahoma. So that was the first chapter of Roll With It by Jamie Sumner, and it's a great book. It's got great characters, and as I said in the beginning, it has that sense of sort of a found family, friends coming together to help each other, but I really love the families that build themselves outside of the normal family structure. And if that's something that appeals to you too, I highly recommend that you read this book. Thanks for joining me.